Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast,
your go-to destination for a unique blend of recovery and discovery.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Mark. And in this podcast, we will endeavor to create a safe and uplifting space for our guests and listeners to share their stories with sincerity and a touch of humor.
Remember, we are not a Glum Lot. The Glum Lot Podcast is more than just a source of entertainment. It's a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, recovery is possible. Every story we share carries the power to inspire positive change.
So buckle up, get ready to listen, and join us in discovering the strength that lies within every individual's journey. This is the Glum Lot Podcast, where humor meets hope.
Welcome to episode number 42 of the Glum Lot Podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Brett.
And we're the Glum Lot Podcast people. So, coming to you live.
And I've got to say,
What?
we each have our own mic now, and I love it.
We get really close.
I can really go.
This is known as the proximity effect.
Yeah.
I'm inside your head.
Smooth jazz.
Okay, so
Anyways,
jazz.
so I always start this with so.
Yeah, you do.
And
so
I overanalyze it. So I listen to myself on these podcasts, and I start getting very, very critiquey of myself.
critiquey.
Yeah, critiquey. Very technical word.
Yes.
But I do. And the other one I've noticed, I'm a you-knower.
Are you?
And that drives me nuts when I hear other people do that.
You know?
Yeah, and so, I'm sitting here, so, I did both of them right there, and I'm too close to the mic, so here I go. Anyways, I get down on myself because of it, because I'm striving for perfection.
That reminds me of something that I have been thinking about a lot lately, and that is put down the bat.
Yes.
Oh, my God, I've been hitting myself with the bat for the last 3 or 4 days, and it's exhausting. It's stupid, and it doesn't do me any good.
It's not worth it.
It's not. Put the bat down,
Look
man.
what we're really doing here. Do you think people care if I said too many times or started something with so?
No.
Well, maybe, but I don't care about it.
It almost becomes like a kind of a funny little thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit.
Well, don't tell me that, because now I'm going to keep doing it.
Here's the thing, is like, nobody gives a shit, but yet we got to make it into a big deal.
Pole vaulting over fly shit.
Yep. So put down the bat, sir.
I will. And I've got to step back from the mic because I get boomy.
Boomy. You are a boomy dude.
I am a boomy dude.
And so, part of getting sober is realizing that beating oneself up doesn't do you any good.
None.
It doesn't make you change.
Yeah.
The change has got to come from a different direction. So you beat yourself up and you give that self-contempt strength. And what we really need to do is heal and change.
Yeah, because I could become a slave to it.
Heal and change. Another thing I hear at meetings is, come down from the cross, we need the wood. Have you heard that one before?
No.
Oh, my God. First time I ever heard, I'm like, what?
Oh, that is so great.
Come down from the cross, we need the wood. I'm like, okay.
That's good.
I won't be the martyr anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Oh,
so.
That's so great.
Yeah, someday somebody's going to take every AA-ism and put them in a book. Every single one-liner.
Yeah, there is one that exists.
Is there?
Yeah, it's the 101 common cliches of AA.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
own it, and it's awesome.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to go get it now.
And it's awesome because it says it, and then it shows you where it is in the big book and why it's said. So it's really cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yes,
so.
please do.
So we have a guest today who I have never in my life met, that you met at a conference.
Yep.
That is a young man who has got a great story, and he's
and a
quite
lot of experience already.
And what my kids say, you ever hear the term Riz?
I don't.
Oh, that guy's got Riz.
Oh.
It's charisma.
Oh, my
But,
Lord.
they shortened it to Riz. The first time I ever heard it, I'm like, Riz? What is that, does he got some kind of disease?
I mean, seriously.
But this kid's got Riz.
He's got the Riz.
He's got the Riz.
Jack.
Let's welcome him. Welcome, Scotty.
Scotty.
Scotty, welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast.
Welcome.
We are glad you are here.
Yeah, I'm
Indeed.
glad as well, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. What is your sobriety date?
July 8th, 2021.
Okay. And can you roll back and tell us your first experience with the effects of alcohol?
Yeah, I definitely can. I was was with a couple buddies, and we were behind these woods.
How old?
I
Generally.
was about 12-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they were all boozing it up behind the school in the woods, and I took part, and I knew right then and there. I was like, I found something.
Did it give you a
Yeah.
warm feeling? Were you a shy kid?
No, but it's because I just thought I had to impress everybody.
Yeah.
So, like, I was going to make myself go where I thought
Yeah.
I was going to be who I thought you wanted me to be.
Okay, so it gave you that extra boost you needed.
Oh, man, I was everything on that. I was
Oh.
6 inches taller. I was a lot bigger and stronger. I was the most handsome man on the planet.
After that experience, did you want to chase that?
Oh, I right then and there, I knew God put that on the planet for me, and if anybody got in the way of it, I was instantly willing to cause harm in the worst of ways to get to it.
Wow.
So did your disease progress quickly from that point?
I'd say so, yeah.
It just wasn't that available to you, probably, right?
I had an older brother, and he was pretty bad. I had an alcoholic mother that didn't, at the time, she had her own problems, so, like, I got to sort of steal stuff. I had a dad with a big garage full of booze, and he wouldn't notice if a bottle's gone.
Yeah, so it was
You know?
available.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely
Did this quickly become a big part of your life
Instantly.
in your teen years?
instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the second I touched it.
And did you gravitate to other people who were kind of in the same boat as you?
Oh, yeah.
shared
I mean,
that
we
whole
always
party.
find our own.
Yeah.
Whether it's when we're using or not.
Right.
Like, I found you guys when I wasn't using, but
Right.
before that, I was still going to find my people.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, right
So-
then and there.
Any drugs enter into the picture?
Oh, a whole lot of them.
Okay. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I was more on the downer side. Like, I loved heroin. I loved Xanax. I loved alcohol. Them were, like, my 3 favorite things in the world. But if I couldn't get them, some cocaine and meth would do.
They do.
Yeah,
Whatever's available.
no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah. I mean, to me, when I was young, it was booze was my number one.
Yeah,
Whatever else was around, as long as I was drinking, I was up for it.
yeah.
You know?
For me, booze might have been if I didn't get dependent on heroin first.
Yeah.
So, because once I was dependent on that, my body would just shut down if I didn't have it. And then, but booze gave me that thing that I could just go anywheres and be.
Yeah.
I thought I was being a
Right.
man, but I was making an ass of myself.
Well, I remember thinking, this is what it must feel like to be normal. When I caught my first buzz, I'm like, I like this. This is
Yeah.
going to work for me. You know?
I'm instantly grown up, too.
Yeah. I don't know if I thought normal. I thought more like this is what it's like to be like God. And that's sort of where
Wow.
my head took me.
Well,
I
you know-
thought I ruled the world.
They say our brains process alcohol differently than normal people.
Right?
You know, and
Right.
I think that's what it is we do get that euphoric bump that normal people may not. And I know people that aren't alkies that are like, they'll have like 3 beers, like, oh, I gotta stop.
I'm getting an uneasy
Yeah,
feeling.
I gotta stop. I'm
Imagine that.
losing control. I'm like, I want to lose control.
I'm feeling queasy.
I feel like I don't have control when I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I better stop.
So, how old were you when you became addicted to heroin?
So it was sort of like I remember I was 14 and my dad had surgery. He had a bunch of Percocet or Vicodin.
Right.
Same difference. And I just started stealing them a little at a time, and I fell in love. It was another one of them feelings. I instantly knew God put these on the planet for me. And if you get in my way, I feel sorry for you. I'm going to get these one way or another. And I couldn't. He ran out, and I stopped being able to find them on the streets, or
Yeah,
they were
and
too
heroin
expensive.
was so cheap, right?
So cheap, man. Like $10, get a couple bags, and good for a couple hours compared to the 10 pills that cost $50.
Yeah.
And I was 16 when I started that, and by 17 I was IV using it, and it just kept progressing from there.
Did you ever have any experience with an overdose by you or friends?
Yeah, actually, a handful of them. I've been Narcaned on several occasions. That's why, like, I love that drug, because it gives people a chance to finally get right, maybe get to rehab.
Oh,
whatever.
Narcan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I carry Narcan in my glove
So do
compartment
I.
of my car.
Yep.
And in a lot of states, we're in New York State, and they have a program where they'll teach you how to do it, and they'll give it to you for free. And I think that's fantastic. It's got to save a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And I know from experience that it really pisses off addicts when you Narcan them.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated it.
Tell us about that. Tell us
wow,
about it.
his face just
Because I've seen it, but I've never heard anybody describe why they get so angry.
I think I just saw what happened when you were trying to take it away in the first place. That face got real serious.
So tell us about getting Narcan and why it
was
pisses
more
off
so the first couple times, because after that, like, I'd wake up, I'd just be like, fuck, man, this shit happened again.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I just didn't believe that I was overdosed. I was like, I was in a great nod, and you guys are taking it away from me. And
We're saving your life.
Yeah, like whether I was in an ambulance or there's paramedics and police around me, I still just truly believe I was just nodding out. Let's relax. My skin color should be purple for a little bit. Don't worry. And I just
telling the paramedics that everything looks okay.
Yeah, begging them to let me stay home, even though the Narcan wears off in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Begging them. It's literally just all insanity.
Yeah, I mean that drug really takes you over.
Yeah, I did some bad shit, man. I mean, I won't say I regret it. It gives me, stories to bullshit with people about. And
you had the experience, and
yep.
We shall neither, shy away from it, shut the door on it.
Yeah, regret the past, nor shut the door on it.
So your heroin use accompanied by alcohol,
Xanax and alcohol,
whatever else.
They were the two big things that were like in second place.
So what was obviously it came to a point at which you had to change.
Yeah,
can you tell us what led up to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I was I had this job and at the time I'm out of prison and I'm making a little bit.
Can we just roll back?
Yep. You can't just skip to that shit.
Put the brakes on. The needle on the record goes.
This is storytelling.
Yeah, man.
What did you go to prison for?
Burglary.
And was it drug related?
100%. If you take in consideration, I was stealing shit to go get drugs with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was robbing car dealerships, and they didn't like that, I guess. And
indeed.
While I was out on bail, they were honestly pretty cool at first. Like, as far as like, let's give them a chance. It was first offense. Then I was out on bail and I caught 2 DUIs and another thing they just didn't freaking like. So I remember I went to court. I was going to court. I took all the Xanax I had. That was the only drug I had. I woke up like 3 days into jail. And
so you were Xanaxed out the whole process?
No idea what my sentence is when I woke up. I'm asking people. I'm thinking I got like 6 months in the county. Fucking, I could do that.
What was it? What did you actually have?
I got a 2 to 6 when I was 18. And it sort of, I was like, fuck, man. I'm like 130 pounds. I'm not built for prison.
Right.
Yeah.
I just wasn't. So, that was a wild experience. I'm happy it's over. I'll tell you that for free.
So drugs and alcohol took you to a very fucked up place.
Yeah, man. Quick, too. I mean,
so you did serve some time?
Yeah. Altogether, I did like 17 months.
Oui.
Yeah.
But you were a young man.
Yeah, I don't know about man, but I was young. And,
you were a young lad, we'll say.
Yeah.
Young something.
So did they approach you at any point during this process about rehabilitation, or was that not even brought up with you?
I mean, at this point, I've been to several rehabs just from my
you had?
My parents sending me there. I know altogether now I've been to 9. At that current time, it was either 4 or 5.
So
6 maybe.
Had you been to drug court?
No, they did not offer me drug court. They didn't offer me shit. And rightfully so. I mean, I was literally out there. My 1 DUI, I hit a minivan with an old lady and a little girl in it, and thank God they didn't get hurt. My second one, I smoked a telephone pole, and the part of the engine or whatever was in the front of the car on that side was sitting in the passenger seat. And if I was a couple inches over,
Right, or if you had a passenger with you.
Or if I had a passenger with me, even worse. So
your life is a disaster.
Yeah. Well, actually, you could call the shock program I went to rehabilitation, but really it was just corrupt place where a bunch of COs got off on hitting people.
This is when you were under 18?
This is when I was in prison. I was there for a little bit, and they offer this program to people called shock. It's like a boot camp. And at first, I was too tough, to go to it. I wasn't gonna.
How old
go.
were you at the time?
18 to 19 in that area.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally I go. This old guy, God bless this guy, he talked me into going. He's like, dude, you're gonna either end up doing your full 6 here, you're gonna get a longer bid, or you're gonna get stabbed a lot. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to shock. And I turned a 6-month program into an 11-month program because I just couldn't figure it out. I kept getting in trouble. And finally I go home and I was right back to it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got out of prison early,
Yep, I did get out of prison early.
and you're on parole,
I am on parole, yep.
but you're not towing the line.
No, man. And shortly after, COVID happens. So while I'm on parole, so all the check-ins are on the phone. He's not coming to my house anymore.
Oh, damn.
So
Never
I'm
even
like,
thought about that.
I
side
was
of
like,
The
things.
guardrails
Thanks,
are down.
man.
Yeah.
Now, when you were in prison, were drugs available to you?
yeah, it was mostly Suboxone, and they call it Deuce. It's that spice shit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I love the Suboxone. I was like, yeah, give me 3. Fucking
And you could buy it or trade for it?
yeah, and I was blessed. I have my parents, they did everything they could.
Yeah.
God bless them. But I also, my uncle, my dad gets so mad at him he used to do anything for me, and he would always put money on my books. So some of his money got used to support my
He
habit.
was enabling you, so to speak, right?
Yeah, he didn't know that at the time. But
Right.
100%.
Yeah, his intentions were
Yeah,
good.
he had a big
Yeah,
heart.
But yours
no,
weren't.
he's the greatest human on the earth, I think.
So you get out of prison. You're on parole. COVID hits. You're out using again.
Yep, I'm out
The same
using-
the same big 3: booze,
Yeah.
Xanax, and the downers.
Xanax were a little bit more minimal, just because I was still scared to get drug tested, and Xanax take a little bit to get out of your system.
But so, are you working at this time?
Yes. I had I don't know the time frame, but I had 3 main jobs from the time that I got out, and finally I fell into a good job, and I was making good money. I didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
I was on heroin. I was making more money than I needed for my habit, and that's never too great.
But you're functioning at work while using heroin?
For the most part, so that leads me to why I got fired. I was sitting inside a loader, and I'm sitting there. I have one truck hauling to me. His haul's 45 minutes, so I got a bunch of time in between. Takes me about 5 minutes to spread a stone. And the owner of the company is knocking on the door when I'm nodding out, and he gave me the boot. He was like,
Did he know?
Fuck yeah, everybody knew.
Yeah.
But one thing I can say is I was decent enough at my job to keep most of my jobs until it just got way out of hand. And it got out of hand at that point.
So you lose that job. What does that do? What does that do to you?
That was the end of my using. I had a couple bucks saved up. I have no idea how. And it lasted me about 2 weeks, week and a half, 3 weeks. I don't know, something like that. And next thing you know, I'm out of money. And I remember laying in my bed, man, and I'm dying. And I made this plea to what I decided to call God now, but I was just like, hey, man, I will do fucking anything to not feel this way again.
So are you dope sick at this point?
I'm so sick. I'm living off chocolate milk and Doritos. That was my little combo.
So you're into health food
Is
too.
there something wrong with that, by the way?
So you
Some
have
might
got.
I guess I struggle.
So you're laying there in bed. You don't have any money. You don't have any drugs.
Yeah.
Are you drinking at all, or?
So I did what every real hero does. I went back to Dad's house, and he has me sort of, if I want to do anything, I got to leave. But to leave, I got to get something in me to get up, and I can't. I'm just dying. And I remember I walked into the kitchen. I just said, hey, man, I think enough's enough. I need to end this. I need to stop this whole ordeal. And I was on, to God willing, my 9th and final rehab.
So you go to this rehab 28-day?
I stayed for 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now, and you said you went to 9 rehabs.
That was my 9th rehab.
But this one's different.
Well, actually,
Because of
this
what
one
you
I've been to
experienced.
5 times, but
And they go, hey, they know you out of
yeah, they know.
He's back.
They were that excited. They're like,
They were
fuck,
Scotty!"
man, this kid's a pain in the ass.
But
he'll AMA in a week.
but different Scotty.
Yeah, man,
You have the gift of desperation at this point?
100%. I knew. I remember I was 13 days sober, still sick as a dog, and I told my counselor, I was like, I'm not going to use again, man. He was like, just
So you had
pump your
13
brakes.
days. No detox or anything?
Yeah, so they have a detox unit. I was there for 5 days. Not enough like detox for me.
But like Valium taper, anyways. Anything like that?
I was on a Suboxone taper, and they gave me some other drugs. I don't know what they were. They weren't Valium. I would have loved that at the time. But
I want to.
yeah.
I want to stay in the detox
yeah,
longer.
you had a TV in your room. It was sweet. I remember they gave me my first Suboxone. I started doing push-ups in my room. I was feeling
man.
great. I was like 126 pounds, soaking wet, and I was like a new man. But no, this usually when I went to rehab, it was like 3 to 7 days my detox period. I remember day 26, that morning of, is when I woke up and the sweats were minimal.
So when you got out of detox, you were not detoxed.
No, man, I was dying. It was horrible.
Did that make your experience better or worse? Because sometimes that hangs on, and you're desperate enough to want to learn.
At the time, it was a lot worse. It sucked, but I tell people all the time I'm so grateful for it.
Yep.
Because I just remember it was hell them first 25 days.
You know, a lot of times, I mean, I know for myself, I didn't go to AA to quit drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I went to AA. I wanted to feel better.
All right.
You know, and I felt better after a week, and I went out and drank again.
Yeah.
And then I came back and I stopped drinking for 2 weeks. Then I felt better.
Yeah.
Then I went back out. I did that over and over again.
Yeah, me too.
But if you don't feel better, if you feel a little bit better, but you see other people getting better, and you get that, you keep that desperation going long enough, you're going to keep coming back. You know.
Yeah, man.
So you're in this rehab, and you've been through this before. It's nothing new to you,
No,
right?
I'm a rehab warrior at this point.
Yeah.
I know how to bid it out.
But things are different this time.
So much different.
Tell us about how different. How did it work?
Well, so this rehab, just sent some kid there. I try to get people into this place all the time. I think this place is awesome. It's called Footprints to Recovery. I went to the Chicago one. I went to the New Jersey one twice before prison, but I went to the Chicago one, and what I thought was cool is they give you a chance to live, man. I got to go out on pass, and it didn't have to be like my parents coming. I could get a sponsor. He could come pick me up, bring me to meetings, bring me to his house, play video games, whatever the case may be.
So it was a little freer. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it didn't lock you down.
It was closer to like a sober living with staff around. But like you couldn't leave every day you still had to fill out a pass.
Yeah.
But they brought you to a meeting every night. They allowed you to know what it's like to live sober with some guide. Like
what was it? What was the name of the organization?
Footprints to Recovery.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that freaking place, man. Changed my life.
Yeah.
Sounding like a little gratitude there.
Oh, I forever will show it. That place, man, they put up with all my shit. I was hell when I was there. I didn't like anything about the place. I wanted them to change everything for me. But there was something different when I went this time. It was I just knew I had to do whatever.
Was you.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just knew I had to do what these guys that are living great are doing. We know who to look for. It doesn't take too much common sense, and I don't have all that much, so thank God. And
So after the rehab part of it, do you go into sober living?
no, I went home.
Okay.
Wow.
But so you stayed at this rehab for 2 months.
Yep, stayed there for 2 months.
Okay. So you go home. Do you have a plan? Do you have things set up, or are you just kind of winging it?
I'm gonna go to meetings.
So you had already been introduced to meetings while in rehab? Did I catch you at a sponsor?
Yes, I did get a sponsor my 11th day sober.
Oh, okay.
Thank God for him. He came up to me. I didn't go up to him. I
Under
didn't
the
know
guise
any
of
better.
AA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He just knew I was fucking shot. It's this younger kid. His name's Dan. He whoa.
There's Milo.
Yeah, that's mine. He's in every podcast.
That's
Yes.
all right.
Yeah,
Good for him.
I used to edit it out. I don't even edit it
Nah,
out
who
anymore.
cares?
You should. If you don't like dogs, don't listen.
That's right. That's right.
But
It's acceptance.
yeah, he came right up to me. He's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I was like, "I don't fucking know, man."
I don't know what's going on. I
feel
was
like
hoping you
hell.
could tell me.
Yeah, and he was like, "We're gonna hang out, man." And within like a week, he was really my sponsor, and he just I'm so grateful for that kid, man.
Did you start going through the steps?
Yeah, it was a little. We got through like 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Good old rehab, 1 through 3 and out of there. But then when I got home, I got a good sponsor, and he got me right through the book pretty quickly. And thank God he did, man. He did it the way the book was designed.
How was it? Did it take a long time for you to lose the thought about getting high?
You know what? Depends what you consider a long time. I think if I had to put a real time frame on it, I think I was between like 4 and 5 months. And I'm just getting towards, I'm probably with my new sponsor around step 8 or 9. And I don't know, one day I just realized that, like, I haven't thought about a drink in a couple weeks.
Yeah, a lot
A lot of people can't.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't put a time frame on that.
Right,
or
they're
a
like, you know
moment.
what? But
Yeah.
there's a moment that they realize, oh my God.
Because you hear a lot of times, those burning bush moments in the room, and not everybody has that.
Yeah,
No, that
I
wasn't
didn't.
my experience.
Mine was a slow grind.
Oh God, no, I didn't. Yeah. So anyways,
And no, I'm super grateful for it. I truly do believe, though, it's because my sponsor, he took me through it the way the book was designed, which is quickly, and I got to be able to go out there and start living life. I didn't have to just sit in these church basements and rot away about talking about gratitude and which is great. Don't get it twisted, but I got to start putting these things that get us better into my life.
Right, into practice.
And what are the odds? I got better pretty quick.
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy how
my
that
gosh.
works.
Well, you're given this design for living, and when you start putting it into practice, it works.
Yeah.
Just like they said it would.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell?
It's almost like Bill and Dr. Bob were onto something.
right.
now
You
was
figure
your
something out.
sponsor similar to how that rehab ran, or was he dictating every move that you did?
No, dude. My sponsor maybe did, and I missed it, but
It didn't feel it.
No, not the dictator part, but what I'm saying, he didn't make up any rules. You'll hear these made up rules from sponsors. I know
That's
you
why
do.
I'm asking.
The call me every day thing. No, my sponsor never did that. I'd called him about 3 times a day for a while. Don't get it wrong, but
He was like, please don't call me every day.
right. He's like, dude, did you call anybody else first? I'm like, no, man, you're my guy.
So he was pretty.
Oh, he was the man, dude. He was a little smarter than me at the time, and I'm forever grateful. He's arguably my best friend today.
How about that?
And just because he was willing to do with another guy what the guys before him were willing to do with him.
Yeah.
And that's why I really try to give it back whenever I get the chance to, whether I want to or not, because I'm not perfect. I
Now,
don't
did
always
you
want to.
did you have any issues with step 2 and 3, the whole spiritual part of the program, or did you have some kind of background or a belief prior that made it easier for you?
I think no, I can't say I really struggled. I just I knew I had some type of hope in something. I definitely didn't know if it was God or not. I had some type of hope in something because these guys I'm starting to surround myself with, they're crushing life. They're having fun, which is, I think, maybe the most important thing in this whole thing. Because if I'm not having fun, what's it worth?
Right.
And but they're getting good jobs. They got nice cars. They got a hot girlfriend.
They got some
freaking
serenity.
sweet.
They got some serenity in their
Yeah,
life.
and they're smiling. I'm like, fuck, man, I haven't done that in forever.
That's interesting because our last guest just said, something we don't talk about in the rooms and stuff very much is just happiness. And you're telling us that was one of the biggest things for you to see, that happiness is what kind of springboarded. Yeah.
It's attractive.
Yeah, man. I think if I didn't meet up with the guys I did, trust me, we weren't always doing the ideal AA thing. A lot of guys in the rooms might frown upon it, but man, we had a blast. And we went and did some things that I probably won't share on here, but
I had the same experience early on.
yeah,
I
it was so worth it because they just showed me how to live. They showed me I don't have to be this freaking, like it says, we're not a glum lot.
Yeah, man.
And I think it just explains itself. I
for
had
a lot of
blast.
people, when they first come in, they think about, how am I going to live my life happily without alcohol or drugs?
That's the only thing that provided.
And that's
that.
why they say, one day at a time, don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking, well, I've got a wedding coming up, or blah, 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 you're going to do yourself in.
Yeah.
And so, that one day at a time thing, man, I mean, that's genius.
Yeah, no, it
if you
is.
can do that,
It keeps it simple, man.
it keeps it simple, right? And you just look at what's right in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
And so this design for living we have now that you're practicing, and me and Brett are practicing, trying to anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying like hell.
To me, It never occurred to me, or it was never taught to me when I was a kid, when I was young, when I was growing up, when I started drinking, when I started smoking dope, when I started doing drugs. It was just never...
I didn't know how to live.
I didn't
Hell
get
no.
it. And then when I came in and I put the drink down, what was left was a guy who was pretty fucked up and sought relief in drugs and alcohol. So I had to change.
Yeah.
And that's where the design comes from, and the steps.
Yeah, I mean, that's a... It never came before that because...
Right, obviously, right?
For me, I believe every freaking line in that book when it talks about that self-centeredness. That was me. I was full of it, and all that mattered was me. So why would any of them... There's not a single step that like helps you in that direction.
Right, the first word,
So
the first step is we. Nope.
No. Get
If
away
it said
from me.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really got to change, the way you think, the way you live, the way you act, the way you speak.
Yeah.
All of it's got to change, and it doesn't happen overnight. And
No, definitely not.
did you find that your first year or a couple months in the program was a struggle?
No, man.
Pink cloud. You had some pink cloudish stuff going on.
Yeah, and sometimes I still think I'm on it here and there.
Yeah.
I think it comes back.
That's a good
just,
thing.
Get the good
It's
vibes.
the greatest, man. But no, my first year, I put my head down and I just did what the people I wanted to be like were doing. And next thing you know, like, life's turning out pretty damn good. Just from listening to these guys, acting good to people at work that I want to strangle, really, and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
Pretty much doing the opposite of
Anything I
intuition
want to
we
do.
have.
Yeah, anything I want to do. I know my first thought, especially at that time, was wrong. So we'll
Alcohol.
throw
Yeah.
that one
First
right
thought's
out.
an alcoholic thought.
And talk
Pause,
about a gift.
Step back. Intellect
Yeah.
over emotion.
And that gift we get pretty early, and that's how we do have that. Which one of the guys on my shoulders am I going to listen to now?
Right.
Yeah, and you learn pretty quickly because I know for me at least, when I got sober, I still listened to the wrong side sometimes, and I paid the price every time.
Every time.
Yeah, man. I mean, I still fuck up.
Yeah,
Like,
Well, so do we.
Yeah, it's not like I'm this perfect angel and all my character defects got thrown out the window and I don't still have to make amends that happened 2 weeks ago or yesterday even. Like, I'm human, man, and I'm going to fuck up nonstop. But I think as long as my intentions are good and I don't feel like I can go wrong. Like, as long as my intentions are pure, I don't think I can go wrong. And all it takes is me maybe not go to meetings for a while, not sit down with a sponsee for a while, throw praying to the side for a while, and all that shit. I can't say because I've done that, and I haven't had the want to drink to come back, but
the behaviors.
I've had some real awful behaviors
Yeah.
in recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talk about sponsorship. So you're sponsoring people. You've sponsored people.
Yeah, I've sponsored a guy or
Can
two.
you talk about the rewards of that?
It's, oh man, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I would have been like, you're fucking nuts, man. I'm not sitting down with some dude. I don't care what's going on in his life. But man, there's so many. So my favorite is sort of like the evolution from like steps right prior to 1 to getting done with 12. And it's like that beat down, but you see it in his face, that little bit desperate look, looks like complete hell. And it's like, all right, this guy's got a shot.
Yeah, and you're like, I've been
He's got
there.
a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like by the time you get done with 4 and 5, maybe he's starting to come around a little bit,
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, he's helping people, man. And
And
next thing you know, your sponsee tree, I don't know what it's exactly called. The lineage.
Yeah,
just
your
starts-
network spreads out,
Yeah,
right? You
man.
sponsor someone, they sponsor someone, and that's the way the program's worked since day one.
Yeah. It's like the coolest thing. Just to see someone else be able to help somebody that.
And the fact that we're actually helping with that is insane to me.
Yeah, I just try to
Compared
leave
to
it.
my old behaviors,
Yeah, man, I hear you. I try to leave it to God because it
Yeah.
seems like every time I take responsibility for it, it just kicks me in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
So I just try my best to be a vessel of some type of hope through a message, and hopefully it works out. And if it don't, hopefully they find someone else before they make a bad decision.
Yep.
Now, besides sponsorship, have you gotten into other kinds of service work?
As far like home group, yes. As far as what?
Committees or
Never
making
been
coffee.
I've never
or-
been on a committee. I've always had a home group. I've
Yeah.
always had a service position at that home group.
Okay.
When I first came in, I actually had 3 home groups, and they were all over
different
our
parts.
area. Yeah, and it was just a little much. I was burning myself out and driving, using 3 tanks of gas a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm grateful I did it now, man. Because
Have you done any of the Ippy Paws or any of that stuff?
No, I haven't,
Yeah.
but I've been to a lot of conventions, man. I've gotten to speak in multiple states.
So that's
already.
how I got to know you.
Sweet, yeah.
The most recent one in our area, there was, for the first time that I remember, and of course it's only 2 years, but I've heard a lot of people say that somebody had a great idea. There should be a speaker meeting that's based all around beginners.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to check that one out. And, this guy made a whole bunch of sense, and he was really funny, and, but he knew his program. And I was just like blown away. And so that's how you're here. And
Yeah.
that was really,
Well, I remember you telling me that. You're
Oh,
like,
I
met
texted him
this
right
guy.
away. Yeah.
He'd be a great guest for us.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys are good examples that people are still insane enough to want to hear me because, fuck. No, it's cool, man. I love going and speaking. Usually once it's over with, I love it. When I'm up there, I'm like, oh, God, this is
Do
this
I
is
sound
tough.
stupid?
Oh, yeah. I know I
You
sound a little
didn't
stupid.
care about that. And you could tell you knew it, but you didn't care.
Yeah, you thought that, but I was ready to rip the wood off that panel. I was squeezing it so hard half the time or hitting it. I had to move the mic way away so they couldn't feel my fingertips.
Well, I think you can kind of rely on your content's good enough, so you
No,
don't have to worry
I
about
appreciate
that
it,
anymore.
man. It's really all I got to do is talk about my experience, and if someone don't like it, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do the program any fault if all I do is be honest and tell my experience.
Right. Share your experience, strength, and hope. That's all any of us can ever do anyway.
Yeah.
And as long as you're doing that, right, it's up to the listener.
Yeah, 100%.
So whether they get the message or not.
So do you do anything on a daily basis?
I work, man.
Yeah.
I work a lot. I'm an operator at Seneca Meadows.
Mm-hmm.
I just run dozer, and yeah, I push dirt, stone, garbage, whatever they want me to do, and I sort of enjoy it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I hope to move up.
Well, that whole honest day's work thing, I mean, it does have merit in our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be useful in some degree.
You're not
Right.
nodding off.
Right? No, 100%. No, I've been lucky enough to run across some pretty good operators, and they've taught me stuff very quick that is working in my favor. And
And that
No.
stuff's only going to be more demand.
yeah, I mean, I hope within the next couple of years I'm
Oh.
out of the piece of equipment. I'm in the office.
Okay.
I don't want to kick my ass anymore, pushing shale and bouncing around.
Boy, I'll tell you, I used to work for a lumber company,
Uh-huh.
and I just yearned for that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, I kind of want to go back. But
Oh
you
man,
never
I
know.
can't imagine. Maybe I'll get there.
Yeah. How about AA in your daily life, or any of the programs that you
For spiritual
enjoy?
practices.
Yeah, spiritual
All right,
practices.
that's-
What type of things?
Yeah, I mean, I wake up. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that I'm the type, the second my alarm goes off, I get on my knees, say a good old prayer. That's not me. I wake up about 15 minutes before I got to be at work. I got about a 5-minute drive, thank God. I brush my teeth, I feed the dogs, I get dressed, I'm out the door, and I'm usually saying a prayer on the way there. If it's not a completely selfish prayer to not get pulled over, I'm off to a great start. And hopefully I grow on that a little bit. But I do think I do good throughout the day. People piss me off just saying, hey, I don't even know if so a lot of the times it's not even like I say much. It's just like, hey God, it's me again.
Yeah.
You know what
You
I
know.
need. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have your way of processing the
And-
stresses of everyday life like that.
Yeah, man, and I think at night I do pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm good at getting by myself, but like I do find forms of meditation. I'm not the one to sit and hover in the living room by myself to some music. I fish a lot, and I'm out there by myself.
So some reflection.
Yeah, I'm big. I love music, man. So like when I'm driving, I find that as a form of meditation. The
Sure.
people that can sit down and listen to a guided meditation, I
Not
I commend that. I love that for them. It's not me.
Yeah.
I'll lose my mind. I'll start thinking about what I'm about to eat. I'll start thinking about.
Your mind will wander.
I'll start thinking about that basketball game last night. But
Yeah, that whole formal meditation.
It's a
Sometimes, it's a practice.
Yeah.
And it was tough for me at first too. I grew to love it.
yeah,
And it works. And you may change someday.
right.
But yeah, it's tough to start, man.
Mm-hmm.
That mind. Click, 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 click.
Well, we all have it.
Right.
And I know what you mean about, when you're talking about fishing or being out in nature, if you're just in the current moment, that's enough.
I think
it.
I think that's like the best form of meditation. Somebody told me once, meditation isn't completely clearing your mind. All it is focusing on one thing. And whether it's the lyrics to a song, whether it's me fishing, whether it's me
dogs.
at work, the freaking dogs, me mowing my grass, I think I can find a lot of meditation in them
Right.
things.
You can find a lot of peace there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, most of my favorite people seem to be able to meditate like you said you do. I just haven't got there yet. It hasn't been part of my story.
yeah. And it might be and it might not be.
Right.
Whatever
I do
works
what works
for
for
you.
me
Whatever
up to
works
this
for you.
point.
Yeah. Yep. So, when you look back on your life and, you lived it, so it probably doesn't seem as outrageous as it might to someone who hears your story.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think I've told you guys much.
Right. We probably haven't told us
Just
freaking
scratching
scratched the surface.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it really you really needed that beat down, right? That
Yeah,
just
man.
desperation. And a lot of people don't get that.
They don't
A lot
get
of
it.
people go to the grave.
How fortunate
Or
we
they
are.
spend their life in jail.
I needed
or-
it. I was to a point I had freaking like blisters all over me, and my skin was yellow. I was 126 pounds when I went to rehab. I thought I looked good, actually, but
That's what I
homeless
was
for
when
a
I was
while.
born.
But yeah, man, little time homeless, but none of that stuff was enough until I finally I just hit that point, man. Enough was enough, and I took advantage of it up to this point. Thank God.
It's a gift.
It's something I probably don't deserve, being what my actions were prior to getting here, but up until they take
Something thought you deserved it.
Yeah. It sounds better than me thinking I deserved it, because
Yeah.
my story prior to getting here, nothing says I deserved it. But that's why, I think it would be the most selfish thing for me to not say yes to doing stuff like this, not going to meetings, trying to find the newcomer,
Right.
not speaking at meetings, not giving so-and-so a ride.
Yeah. And
When-
not only is that giving back, but it also keeps you going. It also keeps developing your sobriety.
Yeah.
Doing those kinds of things. I've been sober for 34 years. There are
Congrats.
things I've discovered in the last 5 years that I didn't know the first 29 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Jesus, how long is it going to take me to really get good at this? Because I just don't feel like I'm good at it yet.
Man, I got a lot of time until I'm good at it. Fuck.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to drink or use in between
That's
there.
right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So you just keep going. And
Still live
It
a
is
pretty
just
good
today,
life. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Still live pretty good while you're learning.
I
that
would
stuff.
say you keep going on this trajectory, you're going to be just fine.
I'm hoping so, man.
Yeah. Well, Scotty, it's been great to have you on,
Yeah,
the,
hell
on,
yeah.
the, on the podcast.
Thanks
and,
for inviting me again. This was
Yeah, great
this
story.
Was awesome.
And we'll get it out there to the world. And until next time on the Glum Lot Podcast, I'm Mark.
I am Brett.
And I'm Scotty.
As we wrap up another episode of the Glum Lot Podcast, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who tuned in today. Navigating the path to recovery from alcohol and other substances is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. Remember, we're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're here to provide a safe space for open conversations about the complexities of recovery. Your stories, courage, and resilience inspire us and our listeners alike. If you or someone you know is on the transformative journey, know that you're not alone. Join us next time as we continue to explore the diverse facets of recovery. Until then, stay strong, stay connected, and remember that each day is a step towards a brighter, sober tomorrow. Thank you for being part of the Glum Lot community.